Hello and welcome to Yes, You Are Brave. This is a podcast where we're going to set off on a journey together to find and build our brave, where we explore all the ways that you have been brave and all the ways that you can be brave again. Because even though we may have forgotten or we may have fallen out of practice, we're all brave. And I'm on a mission to prove it and help you believe that yes, you are brave. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Yes, You Are Brave. I'm Pawnee, and I am super excited that you are here. Today, we are going to talk about one of my favorite things, and that is believing in your worth. And I know that this sounds a little bit strange because we don't often talk about it the way that we should, I think. But there is a brave that is necessary to believe that you are worth what you are actually worth. That you stop listening to the voices that are telling you that you're not enough and that you are doing all these things wrong and that you don't deserve, and that you start listening to the voice that says that you are worth it and that you are enough and that you deserve so much better than you are allowing yourself to believe you do at the moment. Okay? Because you, my dear friend, are worth the effort, because you matter and you deserve to be as happy and as healthy as possible. You deserve so much. And I need you to believe that. I need you to hear me, and I need you to believe it. So, a little bit of a story time. So about 4 years ago, I was in the process of leaving my job. At the time, I didn't exactly understand why I was leaving my job as a teacher. It was October, and I had just signed papers to leave my job at the beginning of December. And as a result of that, I was like, okay, I better go to the doctor, get a checkup, all those things. I, went and got that crown that I had been putting off for a couple of years while I still had insurance. So I went to the doctor just for a checkup, and I knew that things were not great with my health at that particular point. I wasn't sleeping very well, and I had gained some weight. So I went to the doctor, and I was the heaviest that I had ever been in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, I knew that this was bad, but I didn't realize it was quite that bad. And so I was like, okay, I need to kind of get this under control. I need to start. I was really off the rails with my sugar intake, all of that stuff. Well, long story really short, I just knew that I needed to make changes, and I had decided that I was going to, and then we found out that my dad was sick. And then they kind of just those plans kind of went out the window because I was literally in survival mode. There was this one point when I realized, one day, my brother-in-law, he texts me and he's like, hey, I'm going to get ice cream. Do you want some? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, okay, what size? And I was like, give me a big one, after just a week earlier deciding I needed to stop eating so much sugar and all that stuff. But anyway, fast forward a couple of months through just the surviving, dad being sick and then dad dying, and I went back to Utah after being in New Mexico for a couple of months, and I had started working on my, getting my sleep back where it needed to be and not eating all day, every day, and all night. And my sister had decided to change her lifestyle, to do something different, because she felt like her health needed to be different. And so when I got back to Utah, she said, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you want to do it with us. Like I said, at the time I lived in their basement apartment, and I ate a lot of meals with them. And she said, she gave me the book, and she said, this is what we're doing. If you want to do it with us, cool. If not, that's cool too. And I read the book, and I thought, well, I was like, it seemed reasonable. And I also knew at that point that I needed to do something different. I had made a New Year's resolution that year to just accept my body and love my body for what it was. I had even gone back up to Utah and packed up all my clothes that were too small. But I decided to hold off on donating them, and I thought, well, maybe we'll try this thing that my sister's doing. And one of the things that got me was in the book, which is by Chrissy Code Red Nickel, called The Code Red Revolution. She talks about picking your hard. And I thought, well, I was 2 months post my dad dying, and it was hard. Everything was hard. And I thought, that would be a great excuse to not start this right now. Then I had the thought that, the next couple months are just going to suck. They're going to be really, really hard no matter what I do. So maybe I try this and I come out the next couple of months having maybe lost a little weight. And that was kind of my rationale because I thought, let's combine these hards. It's going to be hard anyway. Might as well have it be a little bit productive. And I didn't really truly believe at that point that I was really worth the effort that it was going to take. Honestly, a lot of it was that I needed something else to focus on. I needed a focus that wasn't the pain that I was in from losing my dad. So I kind of threw myself into it. I set a date. I spent 2 weeks kind of slowly backing myself off of sugar. And because that is one of the main things in that particular lifestyle is that you give up sugar and grains. But so I spent a couple weeks backing myself slowly off. And then I went all in, jumped in, and started living this different lifestyle. Now, it was hard. It was really hard. But like I said, I was at a point in my life where everything was hard at that point. It was hard to get out of bed. It was hard to put one foot in front of the other. It was hard. Everything was hard. So me just deciding that, I'm going to do something with this hard kind of gave me a purpose. But slowly over time, and as I talk about these results, one of the big results was that I realized that I was worth the effort. It was worth it to me to feel better, the effort. Because let me tell you, it's hard to go against what the mainstream is doing. It's hard to do something different than everybody else is doing. It's hard to live a lifestyle that is not just eat whatever you want whenever you want and pretend that you can work it all off at the gym. It's hard to do that. It takes sacrifices. It takes telling people no. It takes a lot of work. But let me tell you about the results that I had. And I'm not advocating this particular lifestyle necessarily, but I am advocating that you find something different from what you're doing and a healthier way of living. That's what I'm advocating. And I'm advocating the fact that you are worth the effort that it's going to take to live a different lifestyle than you are living now. So for me, the results, quite frankly and quite simply, I feel better. Okay, it didn't take me a whole lot of time. Yeah, like those first couple months were really rough, but I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight. I lost like 35 pounds. I felt 100 times better. It wasn't just about the weight. It was about my health improved so much. I had more energy. I just felt better. I felt like I could do things. And maybe this is TMI, but you know what? I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is pretty much just a crazy imbalance of the female hormones, and the female reproductive system is kind of just whacked. Okay, there's more scientific terms for it and all that stuff, but it basically just means that all my female systems were just kind of out of whack and had been my entire life. And I had tried so many different things. I had not gone on the medications that they wanted me to go on because 2 of my sisters had done that and not had great results. But with this change in lifestyle, you know what happened? That kind of all slowly just kind of came under control. I went from having super, super erratic periods. I mean, talking like there was no predicting them. There was no rhyme. There was no reason. There was nothing, to having very short, very, very manageable periods. And I know that seems like, oh, why are you talking about that? I'm talking about this because it's a problem that so many women have and nobody wants to talk about because it makes people uncomfortable. Well, you know what? Yes, do my periods still suck? Yeah, they do, because periods suck. But they are literally 4 days now. Whereas before, they would be anywhere from 4 to 7 days. And sometimes it would be 7 days, and then I'd have a week off, and then it'd be 3 weeks, and then it would be 6 months off, and then it would be a month of whatever. Now they're manageable. Okay. Not to mention, I save so much money on feminine hygiene products. Like, that's just a bonus of having my PCOS under control, is that like I spend a fraction of what I used to on hygiene products. So there was this whole thing of like my physical health improving 110, 20, 30%. And then once I got my physical health under control, like it had improved so much, I realized that my mental health needed some attention. Because before it was always my physical health was the immediate problem, right? And I always had to be putting forth the effort to improve my physical health. And all the things I was trying, most of them weren't actually working. But I put forth the effort. I realized that now that my physical health was kind of taken care of, I realized that my mental health needed some work, and that I wasn't going to get out of the place that I was in mentally and emotionally without some help. And so I actually went and got some help. I've been in therapy for 2.5 years, and it has made a huge difference in my life. I feel like just in the last month or so, I feel like I've had some huge breakthroughs in hitting some milestones in where I am with the grief in my life, and feeling like I'm now a whole person again that can handle life and not just survive, but actually like get to a point where I can thrive and be able to chase my dreams and do those things that I've always wanted to do. I feel like I'm now physically, mentally, and emotionally in a place where I can do that. And I would say that it all started with my decision to change my life and live a healthier lifestyle. Now, I told you that year that my dad died, I decided I was just going to love my body the way that it was and accept it. And then I realized, I thought it meant one thing when I made that resolution. And then I realized later that loving my body was not just accepting it for whatever it was. Loving my body was giving my body what it needed to be healthy, even if that meant that I was living differently than other people, because I feel like now I give my body what it needs. And now I am able to do things that I want to do because my body is healthy. Our bodies are amazing, guys, like so amazing when you think about it. Your body heals itself. It just does all of these things without you even thinking about it. You don't have to think about breathing. You don't have to think about circulating your blood. You don't have to think about getting rid of toxins or waste or any, you know what I mean? It just does all these things for you without you really thinking about it. But how well are you actually treating your body? And I would say that this goes back to a mental state, a mindset. You have to believe that you're worth that effort. You have to believe that you matter enough to make little changes or big changes for your personal health, for your journey, and realize that, you know what, maybe it's hard. Maybe you go against what the mainstream is doing, but you are worth the effort. That's why I'm telling you this. That's the whole point of this story. That's the whole reason that I bring this up and I go over my own personal health journey and finding this other lifestyle and learning how to live it, because guess what? You're worth the effort. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be hard no matter what you decide to do. But again, you've got to pick your heart. Do you want to be sick and unhealthy, or do you want to be going against the mainstream? What kind of heart do you really want to live with? What do you really feel like is worth the effort? Because like I said, it's hard. It's hard to do things differently. It's hard to do a little bit of meal prep. It's hard to do, to drink lots of water. That's one of the main things. It's hard to get a decent night's sleep sometimes, but it's worth it. And I want you to know that you are worth it. You are worth the effort, and you are brave enough to believe in your own worth and your own your own ability to do the hard thing and improve your life. It does take a brave mindset. It does, to say that, you know what, I'm worth more than, what does the song say, 99-cent heart attack? Okay, I'm worth more. I deserve better. And I'm the one that needs to believe that so that I can start living that way and treating myself in a way that's better for me and my health. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to make the changes to be healthier, and you're worth the effort. Okay? You really, truly are. And I know that we're going into this time of year when everybody just acts like, oh, it's kind of like a gluttonous time of year, especially in the U.S., where like we just, oh, it's the holidays and we're just going to have a party and we're just going to throw out whatever will be healthy in the new year. And again, I'm going to call BS on something that's not how it needs to be. You don't have to eat 16 pieces of pie. You don't have to eat for 4 weeks. You don't have to. And I know we've kind of already started because we start this with like Halloween and then we just keep going until after New Year's. But you deserve better. You deserve more. You deserve to delay that gratification a bit and feel better. You do. And I need you to hear it and I need you to believe it, that you are brave enough to believe in your own worth. You are worth the effort. You are worth making changes. You are worth the hard. And if you need some help, you know what? Reach out. I would be more than happy to support you in a journey to better health. Because you know what? I know what it means and I know what it can do for your life. And yes, it's going to be hard. There's no way around that. There's people that are telling you, oh, you can do all this and it's not going to be hard at all. They're selling you something. Because it is hard. But it is so worth it. So, so worth it. You are worth it. Hear me? You are worth it. You are worth the effort and you are worth whatever hard comes so that you can feel better and you can start actually living the life you want. Have the health to live the life that you want. So this week, I want you to think about that. I want you to take some time and consider what it is you actually want out of your life. And I'm not talking like crazy things, but do you want to be able to like run upstairs without getting winded? Do you want to be able to just feel better? And if that's what you want, then what changes do you need to make? And go ahead, let's start small. But let's start making those changes so that you can feel better and you can start doing the things that you want that make you happy because you deserve to be happy. And you know what? You also deserve to be healthy. And it is so much easier to be happy when you are healthy. So, what do you need to do to improve your health? One little thing. Send me a message on Instagram at Finding Pawnee and let me know what you're doing. What's the one thing you're going to do to improve your health? Maybe it's drink more water. Maybe it's eat less crap. Maybe it's go to bed earlier. And I would love to support you in this journey because you are worth it, my friend. You are. You're worth the effort of improving your health. And you can be brave enough to believe in your own worth. Be brave, believe that you're worth it because you are so worth it. Remember, you're wonderful and you're amazing. And yes, you are brave. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please leave a review down below and share this with anyone that you feel like could use a little more brave in their life. And if you'd like to follow more of my journey to be brave, you can follow me on social media and the link down below. Have a fantastic day and don't forget to be brave.